Hi, my name is Scott Axmit. I put together a video as my application because I wanted to put a unique application process out there because I'm looking for a unique company to team up with and to work with. I'm not looking for the status quo. I'm not looking for the average. I'm not looking for the bean counter company that just looks to put everybody in a box. I'm looking for a company that wants to go to a brand new level, that wants to do something new, something exciting, and something fresh. So I figured just a paper application probably isn't going to be the right method for finding the company that I'm looking for. I want you to first understand my base philosophy. I believe in doing everything as a value for value exchange. So I wanted to put this video together to give you something to take away even if you choose not to hire me. I wanted to create this video on management called the 4 simple steps to measure a manager's productivity, their expertise, and their productiveness. If we could put a system in place to actually measure management, it gives you the opportunity to put soul back in your company. You see, I think one of the things that Apple and Steve Jobs did is they proved that the old days of just making sure that you have a hard asset that your company can provide are over. There has to be a level of art within your product and within the service. And how do you measure that art? How do you measure creativity? It's easy to measure number of clicks coming in, amount of money that you're bringing in and pushing out. Those are hard measurements. The soft measurements are where the art is. They're the creative side. You know, you could analyze the human body by just studying the organs, but that doesn't tell you what's inside. It doesn't tell you what the emotion is. It doesn't tell you what the art, what the soul, what the personality of that body is. So this short video is an actual systematization so that you could put into place to measure your manager's performance so that they can increase that level of art, that level of creativity in your company. So the first step to this, because there are 4, the first step of the management process is the simple setting of goals. A goal could be anything from, look, we need you to clean the floor, to, look, we need you to create a whole new department. The goal isn't measured so much in time, it's just the work that needs to be done. And for a lot of people, they'll just set this goal and move on. But you should look at the measurement of the manager. How are they performing? And the way that you measure this is on a -10 to +10 scale. You see, if I ask you to do something, and the words that come out of my mouth inspire you so much that you're ready to give your life to make sure that that goal happens, then I've gotten a +10. On the opposite side, if the words that come out of my mouth are so bad, so disgusting to you, so against your personal philosophy, that you're willing to give your life to make sure that it doesn't happen, then I've gotten a -10. And if at any time a manager is in the negative with their employees or with their team, they're going to create this energy that's going to destroy the company. You have to be in the positive. The problem here is the average company is only in the +1, 2, 3, or 4 scale. And with that energy, the most that you're getting out of the employee is, hey, I don't want to get fired. I just want to be here to do the absolute minimum, to not get in trouble, to keep my head down, and make sure that not too many people aren't paying attention to me. We got to get them up above that scale. Now, I'm not going to come at you and tell you that you need to get 8, 9s, and 10s all the time. But you do have to be above the 5. And if you could keep your goals on every project, from cleaning the floor to starting this new department, above a 5, now you've tapped in to the emotions of your employees and your team. And without that, you're not running an inspiring company. You're running a company without any soul. So that's the first step. Now the second step, this is the easier side for people to measure. This is what I call the drill. This is the actual work. This is the actual effort. Look, if you're in a fitness program, you could measure this. How many bench presses did you do, and how much weight did you do it, and how long did it take you to do it? These are the simple measurements. So I'm not going to put a lot of time and energy in the drill phase. The drill phase is how much money came in, how much are you spending on marketing, and what's your turnover rate. Let's get back to the more important aspects of building soul. So after you've set the goal, after you've looked at the actual work and measured it in the drill format, this is the next and probably the most important phase. I call it the inventory phase. See, for a manager or an owner, once they've defined the work, this is the goal, what we're going to do, and they've looked at the employee performance via statistical report or the actual employee doing it, they're going to have a thought going on in their head. Those thoughts are the inventory. And if they're negative, then you're destructive. You're killing your company right there. It happens invisibly. It happens inside your own mind. But this is the most important phase. And it's what few people even give attention to. They're just constantly looking at the numbers of things and thinking, after I look at the numbers, it doesn't matter what I say. It does matter what you say. This is how you build the soul of your company. So how do you keep this inventory positive? Number one, you should never be talking about a character trait, or even thinking about, for that matter, a character trait in the negative side of things. For example, if you have an employee who's constantly coming in late, and your mindset is they're lazy, well, now you're attacking their character. Even if it's just a thought, that's going to come across when you talk to them, when you set goals, when you're working with them on a daily basis. It's going to create that negative energy, and it's going to destroy the relationship of your company. Now, after the inventory, you have what's important for the productivity and the development of your team, and I call it the praise or correct phase of the model. Now, the praise or correct, this has to be done on behavior. Again, we already talked about the idea of inventory, that if you're attacking a person's character, their focus, their intention, their laziness, their work ethic, that you're going to create a resentment. But if you're talking about behavior, now anybody could step outside of their behavior easily and go, okay, I just have to do a different activity. If you're coaching athletics and you're just trying to teach a football player to keep their hips down when they're making a tackle, that's not a personal attack. Just keep your hips down. But if you yell at that football player, they're lazy, you got to keep your hips down, now you're going to create that resentment. So if you just simply work your praise or correct based on the behavior, now you'll keep a healthy relationship with your employees. Now the or is important. A lot of people think praise and correct. Well, you're not running a kindergarten. You're not trying to work with 6-year-olds. You should be able to have a professional team where you tell them when they're doing good and when their behavior is doing the incorrect thing. It's not a personal attack to talk about behavior. And that's why it should be or. I think a lot of people will find that to be belittling, that, hey, I think you're a really great guy, but your work performance sucks. It's that but that destroys the relationship again. And it ruins trust. If you really have trust with your team, if you set goals that are a 5, a 6, or a 7, you've got the inspiration, and everybody is on track where this company's soul is and what we're going to do together, it's okay to say, look guys, we're going in the wrong direction, let's make a change. And everybody will be on board to make that change. And if you have to tiptoe around the issue, that means that there's a problem way earlier in the phase of development. It's not going to change just because, hey, I think you're a really great guy, but we got to change our performance. That people will see right through that. Next, we also measure the praise or correct on a 1 to 10 scale. But we do this a little bit differently. Instead of the subjective measure that we have to use on the goals, how motivated are they to actually do this work? This one's a little bit more measurable because we use time to measure our praise. You see, it's simple for you to figure out what to praise and what to correct. Look at the behavior. If you want it to continue, praise it. Look at the behavior. If you don't want it to continue, correct it. It's that simple. If you see behavior you want to see continue and you give the person praise because of it, if they continue to do that for the rest of their life, you've gotten a 10. If they do that for the next day, you've gotten a 1. Same with correction. If you're trying to correct behavior, you got to stop being late, for example. Next day they're late, well, you got a 0. Next day they're on time for the rest of their career with you, you've gotten a 10. And by measuring these praises, it now can take the manager out of the judgment role and be able to model their performance. Hey, how am I doing? What needs to make changes? Where can I improve? Now the management can improve not just on the physical numbers, but with the soul and the artistry and the relationship that you have with your team. So I put this together to help you understand what I can do to help your company. I'd like to implement this philosophy. I'd like to do this on a continuous basis so that your employees feel this level of inspiration and this level of energy. And I'd love to sit down and have a Skype interview with you guys so that you could ask me any questions and find out how we could possibly work together and help your company grow. Again, my name is Scott Exmet. Thanks for watching my video.